as well, if you want to pull them up.
Yeah, that's a
We'll
nice.
talk about it later, by God. We are live. How about you, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Live call-in show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. Dadgummit. Today is Sunday, March the 16th, 2025. We are about 30 hours removed from Auburn being eliminated from the SEC tournament in the semifinals by Tennessee, eventual conference runner-up. More importantly, we are about an hour removed from Auburn being named the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. Going to be heading out the south. We're going to talk about some basketball. We'll talk about some recruiting if you want to. We'll talk about some freaking football if you want to. This is all about you. Tell us what you want to talk about. Give us a call, 701-779-9585. We will talk to you. We'll answer your questions. We'll address any comments you might have. We'll even hang up on you if we don't like you. Never happened before, but we will. We do have that opportunity. Joining me, as they always are when they're here 100% of the time, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cole Pinkston, Sir Alan Head. How about you, B-Dogs?
How about you?
How about you? You talked about it. Auburn, number 1 seed overall.
First time ever. I didn't realize that. First time in the history. You like how I picked up where Alan froze, didn't you?
That's nice. I like that because I didn't know what to say right there. That was perfect.
Transition. It's mental fortitude. It's being able to see things. Cole, I don't know if you looked at it. I'm going to pull up, Zach. I'm going to send those 4 brackets in the chat. I'm going to pull. I thought Auburn has a pretty good draw in the South. I think they're going to open up with Alabama State. Is Alan back?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay. Alan, obviously, more Cole and I do combined, although Mr. Soul and Bruce Ball 24 make us feel very smart when it comes to basketball. But I kind of feel like Auburn had a pretty good draw.
It is, I think, probably most of if there is some contention from the Auburn staff or the Auburn sphere, it's the fact that you potentially are going to face Louisville in the second round in Lexington, and that's pretty much a home game for them.
So that would be like facing Alabama in Auburn if you were Louisville.
Correct. You know what I mean? So there's the potential that Louisville could take Lexington over. I mean, I think that's about an hour and a half away from Lexington. So, and they travel well. That's a really good fan base. So that's probably the biggest bone of contention that people will point to. Having Alabama A&M, having to face them, Texas A&M, having to face them for a second time after not matching up well with them, playing a Michigan State team who's got probably the second most amount of quad 1 wins beyond Auburn, and a Hall of Fame coach in Tom Izzo. But again, for anybody that's complaining about this, to win a national championship, to play in a Final Four, you got to beat good teams, okay? There's no easy road to doing it. And for those that wanted to play a different 8 seed, who did you want to play? Did you want to play UConn and one of the Hurley brothers?
It can't be harder than having to beat. First of all, when Auburn went to the Final Four that year, they had to start off with a really scrappy New Mexico State team.
Yes.
All right. Then you turn around and play, who was it, second round? Kansas?
Yes.
Okay. And then you go North Carolina?
Correct.
Kentucky?
Yes. And then Virginia, the eventual national champion.
I mean, good heavens. That it doesn't get harder than that. But where was the first round game against Yale played last year?
So you were in Seattle, I believe. You were on the West Coast. So not even close, in the vicinity of the same kind of travel involved in this year. And realistically, regardless of whether it's St. Francis or Alabama State that you play, that is going to be the lowest ranked net team that you will have played all year. I mean, worse than Monmouth or Vermont or any of the other teams that you just absolutely rolled. So you're going to get a complete pancake. And look, there's an interesting storyline if it's Alabama State, in-state team. They'll be fired up to play the game, all that stuff. Auburn is so much more physically talented than them. It shouldn't be anything less than a 20-point game. Like, that's just being honest. But it's a good draw. It's not a great draw because you have some teams that you played multiple times. I think Ole Miss is also in that draw for Auburn. Beating a team, if you had to play Ole Miss, beating a team 4 times in a row, that's extremely difficult. Don't love the matchup on A&M, but it is what it is. And to me, again, it all boils down to the fact that if you're going to win a national championship, you're going to have to beat good teams, even though it's not necessarily an ideal draw as far as A&M being in your bracket. Get over it, man. And it's specifically Iowa State. That's another team that's capable of beating you. You played them earlier in the year. They've suffered some injuries and aren't exactly what they were at the beginning of the season, but it's still a very dangerous ball club. So I like the draw. I don't love it. But again, I don't know who really – I think they did a pretty good job on seeding this year. I'm not looking at anybody's bracket and thinking, damn, man, they really got an easy ride all the way to the Final Four. They did a pretty good job, in my opinion.
Don't sleep on Michigan either, big dog.
No, and you talk about storylines. Trey Donaldson, point guard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you happen to play them in the Sweet 16, I think – are they the 4 or the 5?
Can you see it up on the board? It should be in front of you.
Oh, my God, dude. Jesus.
Kind of
open your eyes, bro.
Nice. Yeah, they're the 5 seed. So if they knock off A&M, okay, now you've got a Trey Donaldson-led Michigan team with Dusty May as the head coach, a one-time Final Four. I think he took FAU to the Final Four about 2 years back.
Wow.
So really good basketball coach.
North Carolina is kind of sneaking in there in that play-in game against San Diego State. I mean, I know they're not as good, but it's North Carolina. It's like, you know what I mean?
It is, but I think they got a little preferential treatment. I'll be honest with you on that one, man. I don't think they deserve to be in the tournament, but that's just me.
Sure. Well, they get a play-in game, which is like, North Carolina fans can't believe it. They can't believe that. Right. We got to play in to get in the tournament.
Hey, Zach, real quick, let's look at the other 3 brackets. Let's see, the South. I loved how the East bracket will be playing kind of like Auburn did last year in freaking Seattle. Like you can't get any farther west unless you go to Alaska or Hawaii, but you're going to play the East bracket game in Seattle, freaking Washington.
Which makes a ton of sense, right?
Absolutely. I thought this is a great bracket. I mean, and a very competitive bracket.
Sure, because
just looking at the names here.
Absolutely. Well, Mississippi State, very physical ball club. That's going to be a great 8-9 matchup against Baylor.
Yeah.
So Duke's going to have a very tough round of 32 game coming out of that one. Oregon is a good team. They beat Alabama earlier in the year. I think they suffered some injuries at middle of the year and kind of had a little bit of a slump, but picked it up towards the end of Big Ten play. And it still sounds weird to say Oregon and Big Ten, but it is what it is, I guess. Yeah. Arizona, really good basketball team. I mean, the Big 12, if you're talking about the number 2 conference in basketball this year, SEC was 1, Big 12 was a second 2. Or was a close second 2. St. Mary's, good. Alabama, that's,
Wisconsin, BYU.
An Alabama Duke Elite 8 would be, if you could go chalk, that would be a great matchup.
Who's the C? I can't see underneath Alabama. I forgot who that was.
Robert Morris.
Oh shoot! He's a cigarette company.
You got it, baby. Tobacco Road.
Was it Robert Morris who made that big run? Or no? It had Roberts in the name.
Robert Morris is the one that knocked off Kentucky a few years back.
Reynolds.
Yes.
Oral Roberts.
It wasn't Oral Roberts. It was the team on there. Now
they didn't cigarette man.
The cigarette man is Robert Morris. That's the cigarette company.
Philip Morris.
Is it Philip Morris?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so proud. I don't know.
What about the Dickinson team? Who was that made that run?
Emily.
Year?
Oh, breaking out the English lid. I hear you. We go from talking about Paul Malls to Emily Dickinson on the show.
Freaking Paul Malls, baby.
We're showing our range here, guys.
So real quick, those are the West. We'll look at the West and Midwest. Florida, UConn and Oklahoma 8-9 there. Memphis and Maryland, you're 4 and 5. Let's see, Texas Tech, good ball club. Missouri at 6. They're dangerous.
Yeah, they are dangerous.
Absolutely.
Kansas, St. John's, and who's below St. John's?
I'll tell you. Hang on.
Ooh,
I think Arkansas is pretty sporty as well. Omaha.
Arkansas has got a lot.
That's somewhere in Middle America, athletes. I think.
Yeah. Nebraska.
I just think Arkansas is well coached, man. Like I can see the impact that Bill Calipari has with them.
Oh, Bill.
Sure.
Bill Calipari?
I mean,
John Calipari.
John.
My
Emily
man went.
Dickinson.
Yeah, he combined Bill Self and John Calipari real quick.
By the way, it was Fairleigh Dickinson, not Emily Dickinson.
There you go. Hey, wait a minute. Do we have Arkansas versus Kansas? Is that what we've got on the board?
Let's see. That was the what? Midwest? That was the West, right?
Yeah.
There it is.
Ooh. So you got John Calipari versus Bill Self. And if the winner of that one, you get Bill Self or John Calipari versus Rick Pitino.
Wow.
Talk about some really great coaching matchups.
And then the Midwest, this is the final bracket here to get to the Final Four. Houston, the one seeds were pretty cut and dry. There was no surprises there. Auburn, Florida, Duke, Houston. This seems like probably on the surface, to me, the easiest of the draw. You've got Tennessee, but other than, let's see, to me, Georgia doesn't scare me. If that's your 8 and 9, Gonzaga. Clemson's got a chance. They're surprisingly good.
Yeah, they are good. And, of course, Georgia has beat some teams this year. I can't remember who they played in their non-con, but they
beat Tennessee. They beat Florida.
They beat Florida, and they had a big non-conference win. I can't remember exactly who against. I want to say it was Clemson now, but let me take a peek at it.
But you've got Tennessee playing Utah State, UCLA.
Look at Troy in there.
Yeah, Troy clinched the Sun Belt on Monday.
I think the state of Alabama has 4 teams in it. Alabama State, Troy, Auburn, Alabama.
That's correct. And UAB had a decent season this year. Did Sanford make it in? Did Buckyball get in?
Oh, you know what? No, they did not.
Okay.
But they did last year, did they not?
They did.
Am I alone in not liking when Auburn matches up with one of these in-state schools like this in any sport? Like, I don't like seeing Auburn play Troy, or I like it, but I'm like, dude, if you lose to them, don't mess around, man. Because
Georgia's wins this year. They've got to win against St. John's. They got to win against Kentucky and Florida. So they've got some resume wins on there. And it showed you the talent that they do have and how deep the conference is. I mean, and I'm looking at this right now and in real time. Auburn has played Auburn is one of the number 1 seeds. They've played the other 3. Beat Houston, lost to Florida and Duke. That tells you how prepared this team should be for the tournament, because there's not a lot that they haven't faced. I think just skimming it, Auburn has played around 16 to 20 teams that are going to be in the tournament this year.
It's crazy.
Wow. All right, let's get to the phone lines. Let's see what people might want to talk about. That big baseball win over Vandy today.
Great walk-off by Kay Ballou. Yes, sir.
It was the bottom of the 8th.
Was it bottom? Oh, so it wasn't a walk-off. My bad.
All right. I think all 3 of us are striking out pretty close.
Look, at least it was a grand slam. I got that.
Grand slam. All right, Zach's coming to the front. That's good news. But before we get to the first call, we want to tell you, if you're in Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, you want to sell your house, want to buy a new house, want to pick up and move across town, maybe pick up and move into town. Maybe look for a little investment property to get it. Look no further for the help you need. Miss Jessica Andrus with the Talents Group, 334-704-4442. A lot of 4s there, Mr. Allen Head, but she's a freaking 5-star realtor. If you don't believe me, just ask Allen Head about it. He'll tell you. Give her a call, man. Jessica Andrus with the Talents Group, 334-704-4442. Tell them we sent you. All right, fellas, Zach in the back's come to the front. Get me some good news.
Yeah, we have a lot of callers tonight.
Oh, get in here, guys. Come on.
But we got to start down in Wilmer, Alabama. Kevin, you're live, man.
Kevin from Wilmer, Alabama. Boy,
all right. We'll accept that. We'll accept it. It's agreeable.
He's fired up.
What's on your mind tonight, big dog?
Janai Broom.
He's on a lot of people's minds, to be honest with you. Are you? What's on your mind about National Player of the Year or the struggle at the free throw line yesterday? What's
National Player of the Year?
Okay.
We will be one of the Final Four teams too.
Kevin's kind of going to the Final Four.
Okay. Look, I won't debate, Kevin. It's going to be tough. Auburn's got their work cut out for them, Kevin, but they can do it. They are a capable team of getting to the Final Four.
Those 3-pointers can do it.
Emos says the Final Four will be the same as it was in the SEC tourney.
I like how they did that too. I noticed that.
It's possible. It's possible.
Hey, Kevin from Wilmer.
What
Personally, I think Duke kicks Alabama's ass,
do you
but that's
think
just me.
about the football team?
Man, Kevin, I cannot wait for 2 more weeks because Auburn is scheduled to start spring practice. According to the schedule, the calendar they sent out about 2 weeks ago, their day 1 practice is March 25th, so that's 2 weeks. That's Tuesday week. That's 10 days from now, 9 days from now. So next week's show. Next week's show will be our last one for a while where we're not searching for things to talk about when it comes to football. I'm so ready to see and hear what Jackson Arnold brings to the table, as well as Deuce Knight. I want to see what these transfers on the offensive line, what kind of buzz they create. I want to see Eric Singleton. I want to hear about him. Got a lot of things on paper to be excited about.
Sam
Burner Turner.
Yeah, Turner.
Yeah. He's pretty good.
And my favorite player is Cam Coleman always.
You think so?
Number 8.
Yeah.
How many touchdowns is he going to have this year, Kevin?
30.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's reasonable.
Just 30
in the first half.
Yeah, baby.
And Mario Austin will have 22.
To a game.
22.
I think that's his number.
Did he not move to 0 this year? Yeah.
It's not even a number.
I'm with you, dude.
It's like color black. It's void of color.
Number 3.
Perry Thompson.
3. Yeah, Perry Thompson.
Is it just me, or does 0 not like a big man number? Like, don't you need to be a big man to wear 0?
A nose tackle.
I bet Antonio Coleman be good.
Who's that?
Antonio Coleman.
For sure. Yeah, put me on the AC bus.
Listen, I'm okay with 0. I hate duplicate numbers. I hate it.
I hear you.
I can't believe the way guys are today that they would want to share a number with somebody.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
It's about branding yourself, right?
Yeah.
I think there should be benchmarks to wear certain
the
numbers.
MVP in the A-Day game?
Towns Magoo.
Oh, rebound, huh? I hear you.
I think it's going to be Deuce Knight.
Oh, it usually is the backup quarterback. You're right.
He's not.
Let's see.
Hey, which number is Deuce Knight?
Number 9.
Oh, I forgot.
My man almost said Deuce.
What's that, Kevin?
That's Robbie Asper's jersey.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Hoping for bigger things. We're really hoping for a better trajectory there.
Where is Robbie now? He's moved again, hasn't he?
Wake Forest, isn't he? Isn't that where
Yeah,
I think that's where he landed.
How many has he been to now?
All of them.
Oregon,
I bet the
Auburn,
baseball
South Carolina.
team beat Vanderbilt 7-6 today.
Yeah, man, that was a good game. I know this because I saw the one highlight from it.
It was a grand
8
slam.
and blue, grand slam.
Nice.
On an 0-2 pitch, 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th, down 3.
Wow.
Yeah, that pitcher hung a curveball. All right, big dog. Appreciate you, Kevin.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
The
Wake Forest confirmed.
Cade Ballou, is that his name?
Yes,
he's
Cade Ballou.
a pretty good hitter, man. Every time I watch, he hits it pretty deep.
Look, Auburn's issues has not been hitting the ball this year at all. They've torn the cover off of it at times. It's finding a Saturday starter for the most part. They've had some issues there in the number 2 spot, but good wins for them today.
Last year too.
It was. They had a nice number 1, and then just the rest of the pitching staff didn't necessarily measure up the way it should in the SEC.
1510. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
What's up, fellas?
Yo, Edward, what's up?
I don't think so.
Wait, I think it's Hendo.
Is it Hendo? Damn it,
So, yeah.
Alan, they don't all sound alike.
bro! Don't do that to me now, man.
That's awful.
Hendo, my apologies, baby. My apologies. Jeffrey got my face turned
Nah,
about
it's all
5
good,
cheeks
man. It was
red
a
over
good
here.
Hendo, you on break, big dog?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, man, I'm on break, man. About to head back in a few minutes, but I figured I'd call in today.
Talk to us, big dog. What's on your mind?
Not much, man. I'm hoping Auburn can get themselves together and make a run in this tournament.
Man, losing the 3 of the last 4, it's almost defeating going into the tournament, and you're hoping that they get that out of the system.
Yeah, my thing is, man, Chad Baker Mazar, I know, he brings what he brings to the table. He when we need it, he can make some things happen. But
Sure.
I don't know, maybe I'm old school, and I don't know if his discipline when he was younger wasn't good. Like y'all he do too much whining for me. It's like he played too emotional.
Man, I love that, Hendo.
Boy,
I think that needs to be said.
Hendo, man, that's a hot topic. People are very passionate on both sides of that one now.
I don't, I can understand you get mad, get frustrated, but it's just the way he acts sometimes is it's childish, and you 25 years old. Now, me as a coach, I'm not saying I'm gonna bench you, for the game, none of that. But like when we practicing, you gonna come see me at least 30 minutes before practice or 30 minutes after. We gonna do. Like I'm gonna be one of them. I'm gonna ride you hard. Like you got to change your the way you're thinking. You got to change. You got to be different. Because they need him.
I think
they absolutely.
That's the biggest point. That's the thing, Hendo, is that Auburn needs him.
Yeah,
he needs to. I think that's selfish behavior, and probably something. Bruce. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They're a different team when he plays well.
Go ahead, Alan.
No, I was just going to say, look, they need Chad to play at his best in the tournament for them to have an opportunity to make it to the Final Four, to make it to the championship game. Chad Baker Mazara is a difference maker for this ball club. There are not many guys that can create their shot the way that he can. Tahad is probably the other creator on this roster. But a guy like Chad can get his shot when he's in rhythm and he's in sync and he's playing his game. He is a difference maker for them. So he has to get back that mental edge and playing with a toughness and playing the way he's capable of playing, because since that situation, I guess a couple games back, he seemed a little bit timid and out of rhythm, and he's going to have to play with some swagger in this tournament for Auburn to make a run.
Yeah, he just he needs to control his anger and like control his temper and just focus and play ball, man. Like because people are targeting. It's almost like having Dennis Rodman on your team. You know what I mean? People are going to target you to try to get you out your game.
True.
And he got to keep it. He got to stay focused, keep his head in the game because they need him. He needs to realize that hey, it ain't about me. It's about the other 4 players out here with me too. Like I got a ball. I got to keep my head. I got to keep my head in the game. People gonna swat at me. They're gonna do this and that, but I can't retaliate because every time he retaliates, he's the one going to the locker room.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
and you look at the way Bruce Pearl has coached all his teams, Hendo, and he likes the energy. He's all about it. Got to have energy on the floor at all times, and Chad Baker Mazara brings it. You just have to find the balance. Like, hey, how do we get this controlled, but also have that energy? Got to have it between the whistles,
right?
Clean, all of that. It's got to be, because when you're honed in and your energy is, taking over games like this, man, I'm with you. Auburn's pretty tough to beat when that happens, but when he ain't out there,
no, it hurts him. And go ahead, Hendo, get your questions off, my man. I'm not gonna.
I'm for the change subjects. I'm for to get off at basketball, man. I'm a football player.
I hear you. Go ahead, Hendo.
Go ahead, Alan.
No, I was going to say that essentially Cole's right about the energy piece of it, and I just think that's been waning some. And maybe that's fatigue. Maybe that's him trying to temper himself some because of some of the issues he's had on the court. I don't know. But he's going to have to bring some more of that energy, especially in the round of 32, and really throughout the tournament for Auburn to push beyond what most people would consider, doable right now. I think there are a lot of people, nationally speaking, that are kind of doubting Auburn, if I'm being honest. I think they love the resume of Auburn. There's no doubt that Auburn earned the number 1 overall seed, but there are people in the national media that are doubting Auburn's ability to make a true run to the Final Four in the championship. So for them to be able to get that done, I think he's got to play at his best, and I think Auburn's got to get more players involved. They got a little Janai heavy in their offense, specifically the last 2 games or so. What was that, man?
He just come out the blue with that one.
Yeah, he did. My man sounded like a rooster all of a sudden.
Did y'all hear me on that?
Yeah, buddy.
He's messing with his mic a little bit.
I know he is.
Trying to figure it out.
He caught me off guard on that one. But they're going to have to get a lot of players involved, specifically Denver, Miles, and Chad are going to have to play bigger parts moving down.
Curious
So,
what you got on the football side.
Here's a football question, though. So, with the haul that Auburn made with the defensive line in this last class, do y'all see us, or can you see us playing more of a 4-man front on defense instead of a 3-man? Or can you see us being better at 3-man front with what we brought in?
I think that DJ Durkin really likes that interchangeable edge. The guy who can be sort of a linebacker and sort of an edge. And when you have that in there, it's almost like I'm in a forefront if I want to be, and I don't have to change personnel. I have the guy out there. But if I want to put him back a little further, cover the flats, whatever, I still don't have to substitute. And I think that's why DJ Durkin likes it so much, just because he can basically change between 2 personnels, but with one guy, if that makes sense, without having to substitute anybody. And I think he's going to stay with that, even though they do have some more D-line talent to throw out there in different places. But I know the big thing is
3. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you notice? Sorry, Cole.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm kind of fixed, folks.
It sounds better. Sounds
Yeah,
a whole
it
lot
does.
better.
I can hear myself.
Anyway, Hendo, they're probably going to stay with the 3-man. I know it's kind of frustrating on passing downs. I get it.
I'm interested. Can Keyron Crawford be as versatile a piece as what you had at that position last year? And I don't know. I didn't see him drop as much. It felt like they let him come off the edge. Chris Murray, I don't know that he can drop as much. So it may look more 3-down-ish, but I'm with you, Cole. It's kind of going to be a 4-down shape-shifting front. And I think they will bring more 4-man pressure.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys, I can get back to work.
Hendo, don't work too hard, big dog.
Hey, I try not to, fellas. Y'all have a good one.
All right, appreciate you, big dog.
Man, Jeffrey, you're coming in hot now.
I know. You see how relaxed he looks now? He didn't kick his feet up back
Oh,
there.
yeah, he feels better.
This is first for me is that I can now hear myself kind of almost echoing in my headphones or
That's good. It's
Okay,
coming
cool.
out through your own audio. Like, so when I talk,
it's
I hear
real?
myself in my headphones too.
Okay.
You
That
haven't been
didn't
doing
happen
that?
before. This is the first time.
Okay.
It'll be weird talking for a while. You got to get used to it because you'll
Okay.
hear your echo and pause. You just got to let it roll.
Yeah.
Is this too loud? Am I too aggressive here with my voice?
No, it's
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. So it's about 8 or 10 inches.
No, you're
what?
good, man.
I can get up in here. You know what I'm saying? I can get up in here. Look at that. That's fun, man. I like this. Let's go.
Don't use your R. Kelly down low voice. Come on now.
5013. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey guys, how about you fellas? It's Don Don.
How about you, big dog?
Coming in hot.
How's it going, Jay Lee? How you doing, buddy?
I'm so much better now. This microphone was really bugging me. No pun intended. But I've got it fixed, big dog.
Well guys, y'all looking good. I love the YouTube and everything. And Alan, welcome back, buddy. We missed you last week.
I appreciate you, Don. I'm glad to be back. I assure you, being
Yeah,
in grit.
matter of fact, my friend, we talked about the A-Day party last week, Alan, and I hope you can make it for that. And Jaylee and Co., I got a question. When y'all were talking to me last week about that, you said you had to be at the is that at the stadium 2 hours for the game or at the football facility?
The stadium.
We never really know Don until we get rolling, but probably going to be at the stadium most of the time.
Okay. Well, I got a suggestion, guys. If y'all can just get the tent and have me a grill. Several of the corner people have asked me to get the name tags and everything, and I think you'll have a good turnout. I'm really hoping to meet Kevin and Edward and Anthony. That's 3 guys I'd love to meet. And Alan, I got something that you're gonna like and everything. I'm having a St. Patty's Day party at not Twin Peaks, but at Hooters tomorrow.
All right.
Keep them in business.
Everybody out there close to Pelham and Birmingham area, please come join us. But on the basketball game, guys, yesterday, I think y'all hit it at the beginning of the show. Free throws, guys. And that was the difference in the game. I believe they were 26 out of 28, and I believe we were 13 out of 23. Is that right?
Give or take a shot or two there, Don. Yeah, I think you're pretty spot on, and that's realistically the difference in the game. That, and I felt like Auburn was getting the wrong person to the free throw line. Our guards have got to be more aggressive and get downhill, specifically when they realize the game's being called in a certain way. They got a little passive in that game and became a little too much of a jump shooting group from our guards, and they were kind of just forcing it in to deny some.
Yeah, I tell you what, guys, you're gonna have different officiating in the tournament. So all that physical play that they let you play in the SEC, it's going to be quite different, and I imagine y'all agree with that.
It's significantly different, and that's been an issue since last year. You noticed it against Yale, and that really cost Auburn. If you go back and look at the number of fouls that happened in that game, that was the difference for them. That and losing. It was kind of the Chad Baker-Mazar situation kind of outshined it. But Auburn continued the physical play that they had kind of utilized the season before in the SEC, and specifically in the SEC tournament. You started to dial it up a notch last year. And this year, I assure you, Bruce is going to have their attention, and they're going to put that game on just basically on loop and say, you cannot do this again. And you saw against Tennessee where they fouled a little too much. Multiple times where Chad Baker-Mazar was kind of reaching in when he should have used his length and kind of kept his distance. Dylan making kind of some senseless fouls at times when he needed to kind of just play a little bit stronger and keep his base. So this is a team that's talented, specifically defensively. They communicate well. They do a good job of passing guys off, but they're going to have to do a better job of not reaching in and making careless fouls, or it's going to cost them the tournament for sure.
Hey, Don.
That was the key of the game yesterday. If you remember, guys, in that game last year, and I believe y'all brought Trey Donaldson's name up last year, free throws, we had a chance to win that game in the last minute of the game. I think Trey Donaldson went 0 for 4 in the last 30 seconds of that game against Yale last year. And if he would have went 4 for 4, guys, I think we would have won the game. And those kids from Yale, buddy, I'm telling you what, they did not miss, did they? And when you get into the tournament, you always say the free throws and the bunnies will get you every time. but anyway,
hey, before you hold on, Don, hold on, big dog.
Look forward to helping you out with the
Dude, you can't stop this guy.
That party if we can have it. So you guys just let me know whatever I can do to help.
Hey man, it's your world, big dog.
Hey, Jay Lee, if you only knew, buddy, I was social chairman in my fraternity, and I ran the crazy place in Birmingham called Club South. It's still open. Everything.
There's some music to play.
I've been promoting and planning stuff all my life, guys. I really have. I've been in the restaurant business doing stuff for 45 years. Go to Social Taco with my friends from Jocks every Tuesday, and I'm the leader of the gang up there. And I really appreciate all 4 of y'all guys. Just tremendous job. Y'all do such a great job keeping us informed on everything, fellas. So thank you for what you do.
Appreciate it, Don.
No, I appreciate you, Down Don, for sure, buddy.
Have a great night.
You too, man. Whenever you're ready. Yep.
Yeah. Anthony, you're live.
Fellas.
What's up, Anthony? How you doing, brother?
How y'all doing tonight?
Can't
We
complain,
doing
man.
good.
Hey, Anthony, next week, big dog, you're not going to have to wait. I got this ready.
What happened this week?
We're gonna play Don Don all.
Oh,
Hey man, I hate to kill the thunder on basketball. So I know I ain't calling to talk about no basketball.
no, you good, Anthony. Get some football questions in here.
Bring it.
I got two questions that's gonna get y'all talking tonight.
Okay.
I like it.
The first one is, which is more likely, 1,000-yard rusher or 1,000-yard receiver? That's the
Okay.
first one. Then my second one is, which is more likely? Well, which would be more at the end of the season? Auburn win total or Jackson Arnold interception total?
Ooh, I like
Win
that.
total versus interception total. Let's start, Anthony. It's good stuff. Really good stuff. It's a good discussion question. We can always count on Anthony. Okay. Wide receiver, 1,000 yards or running back, 1,000 yards?
I'm going to go
Receiver.
receiver. Yeah,
Me
hands
too.
down. I don't. That's not even really a question to me because
Me too.
I felt like getting Jarquez Hunter to 1,000 yards a year ago was almost like Freeze was almost having to go, all right, I know what I have to do. I don't want to, but I know what I have to do. And he could have done it even more, you know.
With the amount of RPO that they utilize, it just doesn't feel organic for them to have a 1,000-yard rusher in that offense. I mean, I think they're going to have guys who are going to be upwards of 800 yards, right? But it just, I don't know that you're going to see one back get enough carries, and I think they're going to spread it around a good amount.
Yeah.
Receiver, I think they absolutely want to air it out if they can.
Sure.
I think the 1,000-yard wide receiver, the curse is coming to an end this year.
How
Has
about
to, right?
this? How about this? Is it more likely Auburn has I'm going with Kevin here. 2,000-yard receivers than 1,000-yard rusher? Is that
I think
more
so.
likely?
So you're saying Cam Coleman and Eric
Yeah. They're
Singh?
2,000-yard receivers, those two, or a 1,000-yard rusher. Which one's more likely?
I think a 1,000-yard rusher is more likely.
Who do you think it's going to be? Who's the most likely? Because you're toting the load, big dog. Is somebody going to step up and take the load from Jarquez? Because you're going to have to get Jarquez type carries.
Yeah.
He was averaging 25 a game, if I'm not mistaken.
Was he?
I thought he was closer to like the 19 bucket.
He was under 20, I think.
Trust me, bro. I'm just kidding.
Because I remember us having this conversation.
I kind of felt like we were complaining he wasn't getting enough carries last year.
20 was the number. Like, you got to have 20 a game, at least.
Okay.
That's
through
that.
the first six, that was the issue. Like he wasn't getting enough touches, and I can't remember what. I mean, look, in the Kentucky game, he got like 40
yeah.
carries, so it may have
Changed.
balanced out. You know,
It changed. And Auburn played better football in the second half of the season.
they did.
Let's see. He had 187 last year for 1201. How many games did Auburn play? 12. 12 going to 187. 19 times. 15 times.
I thought
What I tell you, big dog.
I told you, man. That's what I said. 15 times.
That's what you said for sure. My man
15
said-
carries.
Yeah, it was lower than you would have anticipated.
Dude, he had only 2 games of 20 carries or more. He had 20 against New Mexico. He had 23 against UK. Oh, he had 28 against A&M. So he had three games of 20 or more. And most of them were in the 12 to 13. Wow. Okay. I told y'all.
That's what he said.
That's
It
what
is-
I said, y'all. You thought I saw
think-
25. I said 15, dude.
I don't necessarily believe in this answer that I'm about to give you, but if there's a guy that's going to get 1,000 yards, to me, it would be Damari Alston as of today.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Why do I like the Robinson guy so much? Because he's new?
No, I mean, I like his running style.
Tell you why. Because he's a St. Francis guy.
Yeah, maybe.
He's just got something about him.
Well, I think he's tough. He's shown he can run between the tackles. I don't know that Auburn has another back on their roster that's put that on tape yet.
Well, I put this on the board the other day. Everybody's talking about a starter at running back. I'm not so worried about that. I want the finisher. Who's the finisher? Who's the guy they put in the game to close out a game, to finish a game? And I think that's Damari Austin. I just think he's the most trustworthy. It could be Darrell Robinson. For some reason, I'm not picking Jeremiah Cobb for that. I don't know. I mean,
I'm just not seeing it right now, man.
I'd love it, but
Well, look, I know what the kid's talent was in high school, and then in college, the vision hasn't been there, the patience hasn't been there. You've seen the breakaway speed at times, but it's been inconsistent. The power, and I wonder, are you going to be able to run him enough for him to be a finisher? Can you put him in the game when you need to? And where's his pass blocking at? That's the other part of it, because that's a huge piece to freeze.
Yeah, Darrell Robinson's probably your best when it comes to that. And by the way, I agree with you on Cobb. I will say, though, I have not seen him being able to get into a rhythm yet.
That's true.
And that's important. That's important. He hadn't gotten that chance. I agree with you. The vision is worrisome. I've seen that a few times where I'm like, that's got to be better. But I want to see him get in a rhythm because that can make all the difference for some guys.
And I don't.
Is he an every down back though?
Depends on how much size he puts on. He was playing probably sub 200 last year. If he's up over 200, maybe.
I think he is.
Do you want to mess with his speed?
He runs so hard, Jeffrey. That's been his MO since he was. The first time I saw him was in 9th grade or 8th grade, and he was 140 pounds, and he was bowling over people. And I was like, who is this guy? I mean, I've talked about him for a long time for that reason. Like, that guy really caught my eye the first time I saw him. He's got this killer instinct as a runner, and I wonder sometimes, Alan, is that what happens to his vision? Like, he wants to hit somebody. He wants to get downhill, and he thinks he can prove to be that guy. But he's got the speed, so it's a weird combo.
No, I agree, and I think it is difficult for a kid specifically that ran a lot of gap scheme in high school, like he did, where there's a dedicated hole, right? Like exactly where you're going. Whereas they run a lot of inside zone and outside zone with this team, and you have to be patient and pick your spots, press the line, and then hit it. And it requires good vision and good feel as a running back. So the part of you talking about how he hasn't gotten into a rhythm yet, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Sure.
So I would like to see him get a number of carries in a game just to see, okay, does that improve? By experience alone, does he start to get a better feel for things because he's getting added layers, added carries in a game? You just don't know yet. You haven't seen it. Jarquez has been such a staple back there. It's been hard to give anybody else the ball, and when they have, it's been Damari to this point.
Right. The other part of Anthony's question was, what will be more, Auburn's win total or Jackson Arnold's interception total?
I'm going to go Jackson Arnold's interception total. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I was going to pick up his stats from his first 2 years.
Peyton Thorne threw 9 this past year.
In the first 4 games.
I think it probably –
it was pretty much. I mean, that's what he finished with for the season, but –
he had one against Alabama, didn't he? I guess he had one down the
stretch.
He
had one against Kentucky, and he had one –
He didn't throw one against Bama, Zach?
Let's see.
But, I mean, most of – he only threw, like, the second half of the season, he was –
clean.
No, he was significantly cleaner.
Well, he threw 4 against
Cal. Did he have one against Arkansas? He did, didn't he?
Sure. Yeah, they hit. Was it a pick? No, was it a pick 6?
No, that was Oklahoma where he had the pick 6.
Oh, yeah.
He threw one against Bama and then one against A&M.
Okay,
that's the second half of the season. So he threw 2.
And Kentucky.
And Kentucky.
Yeah. So 3 in the second half of the season, and then 6.
6 in the first half.
Do you think 6 total, 1 every 2 games on average, is acceptable? Do you think 6 interceptions at the end of the regular season next year is acceptable?
Only if you're throwing 2 more touchdowns than
I was going to say 20 touchdowns and 6 picks.
Oh yeah, if
Take
that's
that
your line,
long.
yes.
Listen, I mean, I think Auburn could benefit from opening it up more and putting it in danger a little bit more than what they've done. They played it so safe at times. It's been detrimental. I think they could open up more and risk throwing more interceptions, maybe get into double digits, but hey, you're throwing more touchdowns possibly. You know, we've seen this become more of the game with a lot of guys in the way they do offense. Like, you can't play it safe because games are shorter now.
Sure.
The more you play it safe, the more detrimental it can be, unless you are controlling the game. That's why it looked like Auburn at times, you know, they looked good when they were in front. But when they had to come from behind, trouble.
Same for Vandy with
Sure.
that shotgun option offense they run.
Because it's almost like a mentality. Like, we don't have the talent to go head to head with this team. This is how we have to do it. I don't think that's the case anymore. I really don't, especially on offense. I think they've got it, dude. I think they've got enough to go and push it and say, we're going to go, even if we might throw a couple interceptions this game, we're going balls to the wall here.
No, I'm with you. But to me, that all depends on how your trigger man kind of develops over the course of this year. It's on Jackson Arnold, Deuce, you know, the young man from Stanford, Daniels. One of those guys has to be able to take a step forward this year within that offense for them to be able to have that kind of mentality.
Right.
But I'm with you as far as perimeter weapons are concerned. You've got more than enough, and you've got an improved offensive line that should be able to hold up in pass pro long enough for you to be able to make a decision and get it off within 3 to 4 seconds.
And you've got running backs. I mean, I think we all agree we like the running backs. We may not know who's going to be the guy, but we like them. You can keep rolling them in, keep them fresh. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing.
Dude, I was looking at Jackson Arnold's stats from a year ago at Oklahoma, and I think he was benched momentarily.
He was.
So of the first 4 games, he threw an interception against Houston, an interception against Tulane, interception against Tennessee, and I think he was benched, but he wasn't out down long because the next game was against South. No, that's right. He was benched for 2 games.
He didn't play in that one, and he didn't play against Auburn.
So he came back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last 6 games, he attempted 36, 31, 21, 24, 21, and 11 passes in those games, 0 interceptions. Completion percentage of around 70.
All right. So interesting to this whole point, Jeffrey, what was their win total in those last whatever games where he did not throw an interception?
Wow. Let's see. South Carolina, Ole Miss, Maine, Missouri, Alabama, LSU. That was 6. I don't know. Somebody tell me who won.
So they beat Maine and Alabama.
Yep.
I think that's it.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Lost to Mizzou by a touchdown.
Yeah, which Arnold had a fumble real late in that game. That was not
Yeah,
good.
he did. If he doesn't have that fumble, Oklahoma might pull that one out.
So are you saying that most of those stats were doing on the come from behind?
Well, no, the stats are good. You look at them and you go, good, he kept it clean, but Oklahoma was not progressing. It's kind of like, when Auburn was in what we call the service academy offense. Like, okay, they're moving the ball better. They might be more efficient, but they're not winning. Now, why?
Right.
Well, there weren't a lot of explosive plays, to your point, right? It was a lot of nickel and dime, a lot of running the football, controlling the clock.
Right. They
were also
caged.
missing 4 to 5 wide receivers?
6. They lost their top 6 wide receivers, got one of those guys back, I think, for the last 2 games. I mean, and it was a mash unit up front on their offensive line as well. From a personnel standpoint, that was about as poor an Oklahoma offense as you've seen in the last 20 years, just from personnel alone.
Yeah.
So that whole season was not on him last year. And obviously they fired their offensive coordinator middle of the year. I think Seth Luttrell got fired. They promoted the tight ends coach. So there's a lot going on there. And I'll be interested to see how they kind of massage that situation with him at Auburn and how they get him confident again in his ability to be that 5-star quarterback he was coming out of high school.
So if Jackson Arnold finishes with 8 interceptions next year in the first 12 games, which is more, his interceptions or Auburn's win total?
I'm going to go push.
I'd say it's close. Yeah, it's really close.
I've got them at 7-5 right now, so I'm going to take the INTs.
Mm-hmm.
I think 7 to 8 INTs is
I've
understandable.
I've talked myself into 8-4, so I'll call a push if it's 8.
Okay.
I think Auburn's offensive system, what Freeze is running, it lends itself to turning the ball over at times.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, Cole.
It does. I mean, it lends itself to, hey, you have to be perfect on all your reads. And it's a tough ask. And I don't care who's at quarterback.
Sure.
I don't care if it's Peyton Thorne or Cam Newton. It's not the easiest ask in the world on every single snap of the game. Okay. And if you're doing it that much, there's a reason why Auburn got better when they start putting it in Jarquez Hunter's hands more.
Sure.
It wasn't a Peyton Thorne thing. It was, hey, we're taking a little bit off your plate. It makes the game a little easier for you. And why wouldn't anybody want that? That would be my question. I don't understand why you wouldn't want that to happen for your quarterback.
I think the difference is when your quarterback's humming and everybody's dialed in and on the same page, that offense is so dynamic, you can put up 50 points a game with it.
Right.
That's like when Chad Kelly was in a groove at Ole Miss that year, they went to the Sugar Bowl and absolutely just dismantled Oklahoma State. I mean, they were completely nasty on offense that season. So if it gels and it comes together that way, now you can also have games, and you talked about this, where you have, I think they also lost to Memphis that same season. So you go to the Sugar Bowl, you win 10 games, you also lose to Memphis. Those two things shouldn't happen, right? But they played lackadaisical and turned the ball over in that game against Memphis. And that's the point you're making, is this offense lends itself to turnovers at times.
Sure.
So, Zach, do you have you want to opine on that?
No, I'm good. I kind of agree with Alan on that one. But real quick, Auburn got their tip-off time Thursday, 1:50 p.m.
Okay.
The winner of Alabama State, St. Francis.
So I know to make sure that I pretend to be sick at around
Yeah, right.
You're going to get
12 o'clock.
sick after lunch. Yeah.
Yes, it is definitely food poisoning from the galley for me.
You ate something that did not go down well.
Yes.
It's sitting, but it ain't sitting right.
There you go.
8466. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
How about you, boys?
How about you?
Is
This
that
is
Darren?
Emo.
No, it's Emo.
Look at here. Look who the cat dragged in. Great day in the morning.
Get this back to basketball, man. You act like it's a damn football show.
Oh, Lord. He must have been on the corner too
Nah, I'm
long.
just playing, man. Oh, no, man. My prediction is the same Final Four as the SEC tournament. I was gonna call in and talk about it. I seen Zach shaking his head, and I seen A-Head saying no. I think A-Head's a silent Duke fan over there.
For sure.
Not at all. Well, let me walk that back, man. Back in the day,
like a Duke guy. I mean,
Oh,
there's a Duke guy. That's it right there.
Easy now, easy.
Kentucky and North Carolina are Duke fans.
I'm
and
not
A-Head
gonna lie.
fan
When
when
Leitner
he
hit that shot against Kentucky back in the day, off that Grant Hill pass, yes, I absolutely was a Duke fan at that point in my life. I transitioned shortly thereafter to an Arkansas fan.
Emos, who didn't agree with you? Zach, you don't think that's a possibility? Oh, really?
I mean, it's possible, but very unlikely.
That means, he's got Alabama in the Final Four. He's got Tennessee in the Final Four. He's got Florida in the Final Four. Yeah, that's going to be tough.
I think it's important if they all ended up in different brackets. That's my first big prediction is that's your Final Four, and I would almost bet money that 3 of them make it.
I'm about to say, Emos has got a good
my first prediction. My second prediction is at least 11 SEC teams make it to the round of 32, over a third of the tournament.
Okay, I like that.
Over a third of the teams left in the tournament. And I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that all 14 win the first, or we go 13-1 on the first game.
Woo.
Who's your biggest concern, Mississippi
And
State?
my crazy bold prediction is we won't have to worry about Duke, because one thing Don was right about is this is a guards tournament. It'll be called, it'll be officiated different. And how many times have you seen a Kemba Walker,
even Mark Sears last year. These smaller guards that can shoot, that can draw a lot of attention. Duke's going to see that second round. Josh Hubbard is going to give Duke problems. I think y'all are underselling the SEC just a little bit. And I know we're kind of looking at the names on the jersey. It don't look right yet, but we're the ones with the big athletes now. I know Duke's got them, but they're not used to playing against them. That St. John's team, I'm a big Casino fan, so I think they're dangerous. But when you look at it, Georgia beat them. I mean, and I know it was earlier in the year, and I know a lot's changed since then, but I truly believe the SEC will dominate this tournament.
I think you have a chance to be. No, you got a chance to be real right on this. And Justin and I talked about this a couple of shows back on the basketball show we do. But to me, like just kind of going back through history, if the SEC is able to get 3 teams in the Final Four, that would be the first time a conference has done that since 1985 when the Big East kind of came on the scene. And for like Jeffrey and me, we can remember. Do you remember the Big East when you would come home and they would be on?
They got Virginia and North Carolina. I don't think they got Duke. No, they got. Okay, you're right. I guess I don't. I was thinking that the ACC did that a couple of years ago, but I think that was the Zion Williams team, and they got put out. And
I think you're right.
What's the update on Cooper Flagg?
He's playing by Friday.
Okay,
it was the latest.
Good. I want him to be in there.
Yeah, he's fun to watch, man.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know if he's quite aggressive enough. I watch him a lot. He gets most of his points from the free throw line, or a lot of them. There's a lot of 21-point games that he hits 10 free throws. I do believe he can take over a game. I believe he's the most gifted player in the nation, definitely. But he's still young. He just turned 18, and I know that don't mean a whole lot in these type tournaments. But I still think it's a guards tournament.
I agree.
Does that bode well for Auburn?
Oh man,
yeah.
Does it?
Auburn's got good guards, right?
Okay. I mean, they're not pussies, are they?
Oh, you've been waiting to slide that one in, hadn't you?
Our weakness, to be honest, I think our guard play is going to be our weakness. I love Denver Jones. I don't think Tahad's ready yet. I think he's one of the most gifted players on the team. I think you'll see the rotations change, though. I think Bruce has been forcing him to run point a lot more the last 5, 6, 7 games. Probably put more on the shoulders, trying to get him ready for the tournament. I don't think you'll see Baker Mazar and Kelly off the court at the same time anymore for the rest of the tournament, unless Baker Mazar is kicked out of the game.
No, I'm with you. This is all
think
good.
The rotations are going to change up a lot. I think Bruce is prepared for this. I think he's more prepared. I think we got a great chance, guys.
No, I'm with you. And I do believe that you called it earlier, that Tahad's the X factor, and probably getting him involved at the 2 and less at the point is going to be advantageous for him, especially in a little bit of the slump that he's been in as of late.
And I think the best way to get out of the slump is if you can go out here and act like a number 1 overall seed for the first 2 or 3 games and blow some teams out and get everybody's confidence up a little bit.
Agreed.
But I'm not going to take up too much more time, guys. Man, I'm on a heater. I share a lot of my gambling experiences with y'all, but I'm on the run of my life right now. Me and my wife just got back from Nashville.
Did you?
Yeah, we didn't get to go to the last game. We planned on going to every game down there. We was going to do it all on Prize Picks because they've definitely paved the way. We took vacation and went down there and went to every game we could go to and had a good time. But yeah, I'm on a run of a lifetime right now, and while I'm feeling confident, I want to put these 3 picks in. But I think we got a good chance of taking it home too, man. I really do. I think it's the best chance we've had, and I think we're going to see a different team in the tournament. I'm not worried at all.
We need a dedicated thread from you called E-Moss's Picks, only after you bet it. Okay, I'm not trying to water your line down.
I probably shouldn't say this on the YouTube or whatever, but since the beginning of March, I'm up $47K on Prize Picks. but there was threads on there that people was talking about it.
Brother,
But,
that's just good advertisement for
yeah,
us.
I didn't even download it until the last day of January. I've heard y'all talk. I've heard a bunch of people try to talk me into doing it. I just don't like playing. I like betting the lines and the over and unders, but yeah, I'm done with that now. This whole points and rebounds and assist stuff that I thought was stupid that everybody was doing. This
Prop bets,
yeah. I'm a $17 or a $17,000 ticket off of $25 and a $19,000 ticket off of $50. I don't think I'll ever try anything else besides these prop bets.
Jeffrey over there talking about you making a secondary income, big dog. Look at him shake his head.
all four SEC teams, Final Four, same as the SEC tournament. Love y'all guys. War Damn Eagle.
More damn
You can
Emos.
say War Eagle. You can say War Damn Eagle, Jeffrey.
Hey, War Damn Eagle, we know. Got no reason to doubt Emos. No reason to doubt him whatsoever. He's got the hot hand.
But I would like to make a disclaimer, IRS, that he was just kidding on that 47K.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
He's just boasting.
Yeah.
This is a dude who is famous for his cabbage.
For his cabbage, 100%.
Exactly.
And love videos, yes.
For what it's worth, all 4 analysts on ESPN just went pure chalk across the Elite Eight and Final Four. It was like all 1 seeds, and they all picked Florida to win. Reese Davis, Jay Billis, and then Jay Wright on CBS picked Auburn to win it all. Former Villanova head coach. Auburn over Houston.
What does chalk mean?
You win the
higher
match.
seed just keeps winning.
Yeah.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Yeah.
Until you get to the final 1 seeds, like it's all in the Final Four, and then it's all 1 seeds.
Isn't there usually 12 over a 5? And
yeah.
That's your biggest upset.
You have to pick upsets in your bracket. It's so hard, man. It used to. I don't know if he still. Warren Buffett used to like award if you get a perfect bracket. Did anybody ever win that? I mean,
no.
I think somebody still does that $1 million perfect bracket.
It's impossible. You're never gonna get it.
Yeah, well, and then you don't even get the $1 million because Uncle Sam's getting his third off the top anyway. So
Emos is over there collecting his prize picks.
In case you guys, it's a 1 in 120 billion chance to get a perfect bracket.
I think I've seen it happen once in my lifetime.
Some dude filled out like 300 different brackets and 300 different scenarios and got one right or something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly the situation.
I did. Right. I got the entire Final Four right 3 years ago.
Nice.
Okay.
That was
very,
awesome.
very.
That was really cool.
See, I start off doing okay because I don't bet on emotion, and then I'll be like, oh no, Auburn can win that game or somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'll talk myself into it before I know it. I've got myself out of the bracket real quick.
Zach, do we have any others?
That's it. They dropped. The other person dropped off, so we're good.
Hey, just all around. Let me ask you this to close the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching Trey Donaldson and what he's done in the past week. If you could add anything to this Auburn team, would you add a true point? Would you add a true 5? What would you do?
Do I have to take anything away, or is it just purely addition?
No, you've got a 13th scholarship that you're going to take away from the manager, and you're going to give it to this cat. It can be what position? Let's say what position. What would you add?
It's going to be a point guard. It is a guards tournament. Okay.
You think Auburn's better this year if Trey Donaldson is still here?
I don't know. I honestly don't.
Because you traded Trey for Pegues, right?
You did.
You got
more or
worse.
less. Now, realistically, they were taking Pegues regardless. So realistically, you traded him for Miles Kelly.
Okay.
And if that's the case, we're better with Miles.
Was it Trey wanted to play the point, but he was what was the?
So you had both Trey and Aiden, and Bruce more or less let them know they were free to stay and compete, but they were going to go out and bring in a transfer point guard.
Okay.
And I think the initial feedback was Trey was okay with that, and then it became very clear that he was not okay. I think tampering, what have you, You know, he was signaled to him that there were other opportunities available to him where he would have a clearer path to starting. And then realistically, JP not panning out has hurt this team more than anything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
you're adding a true point.
Yeah, I'm probably adding a true point with a close second to another 4-man.
Okay.
Because while I like Dylan and Janai on the court at the same time, I don't always love the matchups you get defensively because I think sometimes they're better with another true 4 in the lineup. It makes them a little bit bouncier and more athletic. So those were probably the 2 spots. If I could add somebody, I would.
Zach?
Yeah, it's a true point for me. Someone like a Jared Harper or like a Sharif Cooper would just put the final touches on this team. Someone who could facilitate, because I think Denver Jones would be even better if you could slide him to the 2 and just let him go score. I think a lot of his scoring woes come from he's trying to do too much on the offense and trying to run it because he's not a true 1. And I think we kind of pushed him into that role. If you brought like a Jared Harper back and moved Denver to the 2, man, the team would be so good. And also, too, I think it would take pressure off to Hyde coming off the bench as well to have to create as much as he has to coming off the bench.
No, I don't disagree. And you talked about it. I think Sharif might even be better than Jared because Sharif wouldn't be looking for his shot as much.
Right.
Plus, the one thing to me that they miss more than anything is they need somebody that can get downhill, and they don't really have that guy.
That's what I was thinking.
You know what I mean? Somebody that can go attack the rim. They just don't have that right now. They get real passive at times, and they're more of a jump shooting ball club, and that worked for them earlier in the year. But I think they're going to have to change their game some in the tournament.
If you gave me like an honorable mention like Allen had, I think I would probably go a true 5, like a Walker Kessler, who could shoot.
Yeah.
Because I just don't know if Dylan brings you a whole lot of scoring presence. Can you imagine if you had some scoring presence on the inside,
That's what I
plus
was
the
thinking.
rebounding that Walker brought?
I mean, Broom and Okiki are pretty similar, but I was just thinking of a guy that has that kind of scoring presence to go along with Broom in the post. That's what I was thinking. Even though everybody says it's a guards game, I got that. I'm with you, Zach. That's kind of what I was thinking. I was also thinking what you said, Alan, a driver. I want a driver, and I didn't want to. I'm not smart enough to do this. Okay, I don't know if that's more of a preference of this team that Bruce has. I'd rather we like your chances better beyond the arc rather than driving to the rim, because I think Denver Jones is a great driver, personally. But a Jared Harper driver, a Javon McCormick, Samir Dowdy was good at it. You know, this kind of guy that gets to the rim, kind of a giant slayer type guy.
Sure.
I would love to see that. I mean, I think Pettiford's got it in him, but it's just not that they don't do it enough. You know, is that something that is a preference?
Well, it's not a preference, and I think Tahad can get downhill. I think he's just still adapting some at times, and he hasn't like on a team that wasn't as veteran laden as this Auburn team is. He would have probably played upwards of close to 30 minutes a night and be much more developed than he is now as far as his overall game is concerned. He's come along really well, but I think he's still got some to learn about not forcing the action sometimes, where he gets himself into trouble. And then he's still developing as a point guard. He's not nearly as fluid or as natural a passer as Sharif or Jared was at the same age. It's
his
coming.
Shot selection, right? Is that kind of where you're going with that? I mean, he's a little bit erratic with that. I almost felt like the guys that I named were so seasoned in what they knew they were good at. They did not mess around with the shots. Besides Jared Harper throwing it up from the logo, but he knew he could hit it.
I will be honest with you. He reminds me a ton of Jared at the same stage. Jared would 100% he would frustrate you because he would take some of the same shots that Tahad will take.
Yeah.
It just he became much more consistent as he got older. And so people forget about some of the early mistakes because I believe that team underneath Bruce went like 17-13 or something of that nature. Like they didn't make the tournament, but they showed significant improvement. That was Austin Wiley's first year. I think he came in like halfway through. You had D'Angelo in the mix. So that was a team that people forget about. Jared was good, but he wasn't great that year. And so people, because of the scale Auburn's playing on, you want Tahad to be a little bit more advanced than a freshman can be at times.
Sure.
So I think he's going to be great moving forward. But to me, it's just becoming a better passer and facilitator are the biggest steps that Tahad has to take.
Rebounding came to mind too.
That's the only reason that an honorable mention would be a big man, just because there's no urgency at times.
No, it's almost you question the effort, unfortunately, at times. Or I do. I look at it and question the effort a little bit. And again, I don't know enough about this to really have a big opinion on it, but boxing out, that's the effort, man. That kind of stuff is effort. And God love Chris Moore. He's just not big enough to really do it consistently. He's 6'6", right?
Here's the thing, Cole. If everybody had the work ethic and the effort that Chris put forth, Moore puts forth,
highly valuable.
That wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be a problem.
I think it doesn't hurt. In a couple, I've seen this mentioned a little bit. Chaney Johnson's been quiet. He's been a little quiet lately. He's kind of that guy. I think he was.
Chaney and Tahad have not played exceptionally well the last 2 games, and that hurt Auburn. Honestly,
yeah, it does.
It's been a different team since you beat Kentucky.
It has.
Well, do you guys remember in that Final Four run how Horace Spencer's kind of emerged in that tournament, especially in that UNC game?
Yeah,
that's the kind of role Chaney's got to step into. Because remember, Horace Spencer was just a rotational guy on that Final Four team, and then he just kind of turned it on during the tournament and made some crucial plays, especially against UNC. And I want to say it was Kentucky with the big block and made a bunch of offense off of that. That's what you kind of need from Chaney.
Anthony McLemore was another guy.
That too.
Yeah,
great rim protection with those guys. Gosh, they were good.
Yeah, and especially at their height. I mean, Horace was 6'8" with shoes on. Anthony was 6'6" to 6'7", and was just fearless in the lane.
He was good, man. Horace in the postseason inspired one of my favorite usernames on the court.
Horace from 3, baby.
Remember that? What game was that?
The UNC
Kentucky game.
UNC and Kentucky.
But it was in the SEC tournament, though, was it not?
No, it was in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
No,
because Horace has Bryce Brown for 3 to end the game against Kentucky, wide open. He says, "No, big dog, I got it."
Throws up an ugly brick.
Pennies. Yeah, he did. He said,
"Bro, I was at those 2 games because I was living in Kansas at that time. So I was at the Kentucky and the UNC game during the tournament. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever seen a fan base more demoralized than UNC when Auburn got hot from 3. I was sitting with some UNC fans. They were like, no one can beat you guys. They were like, you guys are just going out there with y'all's eyes closed and just throwing it.
They didn't beat North Carolina and Kansas. They embarrassed them.
It was like 97 to 80 or something like that against UNC, and they hit all the threes. It was insane.
It wasn't as bad against North Carolina. They ran Kansas out of the gym. It was over.
Yeah.
No, they ran Carolina out at the very end.
They did in the second half. You remember? Because right after Chuma got hurt, it was either Horace or no, it was D'Angelo. Remember, D'Angelo hit like 3 straight threes, and it was over from there.
Man, that dude had looked like he had just eaten a moon pie on the bench and came in and hit 3 straight threes. Yeah. I'm like, what is going on?
I love Malik Dunbar on that team too.
Malik was you talking about a tough dude, man.
Quattro.
Yeah,
they had a certain swagger and toughness about them that team. You know it.
Yeah, and if they don't lose Chuma, I honestly believe they win the national championship. I mean, they were on that kind of a groove.
And they should have won it without him. I mean, they were playing that good.
It would have been interesting to see how they matched up against that Texas Tech team in the championship game. I would have been interested to see Chris Beard versus Bruce Pearl in that game.
No doubt.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're gonna have brackets all week long ready to go at Auburn Live on 3. We've got specials going on right now. $1 for your first week, or you can use promo code FRIEND. Get you a 50% off the annuals. Alan, I feel like you have something else to say.
Say
it.
No.
Were you going to say Virginia double dribble?
No.
They didn't.
You were thinking it.
Golly. We're going to be back Tuesday night. We're going to talk some recruiting. Braylon Womack, the number one safety in the country, was in Auburn this weekend.
Yeah.
Going to have some visits coming up this weekend, I'm sure. Auburn will be back Tuesday week, getting things started for spring practice. Ready to talk some football. But first, we got some basketball to finish out. I think, Zach, you said Thursday, 1:50 p.m. Central Time. The Auburn Crazy Tigers play Alabama State or UC St. Francis.
St. Francis, yeah.
St. Francis. That'll
Well,
be
it's not
in
St. Francis. St. Francis is the high school. It's
No, it's St. Francis, I think.
is it St. Francis?
I'll tell you in 10 seconds.
1,
2, 3.
St. Francis.
Yes, it's St. Francis.
I told
It is St. Francis. Never mind. My
Well,
bad.
St. Francis and Bama State.
Dude, I'm so used to hearing St. Francis Academy that I just like, wait a minute. No.
I think the St. Francis Academy spells it with an E. St.
They do.
Francis spells
Yeah.
it with an I.
Good
Interesting.
call. Look at that English background coming there.
So let's y'all go check out Auburn Live on 3. Fantastic basketball discussions. Most of the time. Most of the time. And get your bracket filled out. We're going to be back Tuesday night. We're going to record Tuesday night. We'll have our recruiting show up Wednesday. And then we'll be back next weekend talking about the Auburn Tigers' third round matchup. We hope.
One can dream for sure.
If they beat Alabama State and or St. Francis, when do they play the round of 32?
Saturday.
2 days later.
Okay.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. We'll have 2 games under our belt by the time we come back next Sunday. Hopefully.
Yeah. If it's a first round punch out, I don't know what the
If we're talking football next week, something went wrong.
100% planned programming forthcoming to you for you.
Unless Anthony calls in, then you'll know it's okay.
Right.
Yes.
He's
yes.
keeping it 100 football.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it, folks. We're going to, like I said, we'll be back next week. We're going to have a recruiting show midweek. We might have some Auburn Live Plus shows this week as well. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel, Auburn Live on 3. Go subscribe and like it, man. We appreciate everybody doing that. But that's going to do it. We'll see y'all next week. Appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget, Jessica Anderson, the Talents Group in Auburn, Opelika, Lee County. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. Tell her we sent you, by George. There she is right there. I see her. I know her. All right. Appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate everybody watching, man. For Cole, for Alan, for Zach, and the back who came to the front. I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay that left lane. See you.